this is kind of a big. This is Star Wars Paladin. This is kind of a big deal, and I thought I would pass it on since there isn't going to be any new GSF updates in 3.0. This is from Alex Modney. He posted this a little bit earlier today. He goes, "Howdy, Space Jockeys. I wanted to pop in and let y'all know that there aren't going to be any new maps or ships in GSF in 3.0. However, we're making a change to the rec curve in that all rec rewards are getting a permanent boost. Remember, though, because Musco is a freak, that this change is subject to testing and not final in any way." Here, it's funny, they said that for, 2.9, and almost every single thing in test in 2.9 made it. So I think Musco is a big liar, and I already know he's a big liar. Proved he's a big liar, and they self-proclaimed troll, and they deleted my post, and I got a official warning for it. But whatever, Musco. Here's a list of changes for the Requisition. Basically Requisition changes for 3.0 as of right now. Fleet and shipwreck increased. In-match reward calculations are completely changing. The multiplier is getting a 50% increase. The objective control attacking multiplier is getting increased. Defense is getting increased. So that's the control defense, and then destroy defense. I'd have to think about that a little bit more. I'm not exactly sure what the difference is. But you can see how terrible those two numbers are, and I guess they're just slightly increasing them. Like Bob and I always used to talk about, you get a ridiculous amount of points for attacking and almost nothing for defending, and so I wonder if this is like per second. So if this is per second over the course of a game, that could actually be a humongous number. Participation multiplier increased. So I wonder if that includes assists. Not completely sure. This is interesting though. So major fleet rec increased by 400%. This is insane. Now I'm just about to finish up my 4th ship, and I don't have any plans on a 5th because I don't like any of the other ships. Although the war carrier is tempting, it doesn't do any of the major things that I absolutely need it to do. So, great mine layer, but it doesn't have any of the other capabilities that I need, and being a great mine layer by itself doesn't do anything for me unless I'm playing with somebody else. So I need my ships to be good for both myself and my team. But for those of you who maybe want to start GSF on a second character, or maybe if you want to switch servers, this is insane. And also, the other thing is you get penalized for the more ships that you get. So, this will help increase that and offset that, because even these minor fleet rec grants, very, very nice. For quest rewards, it's very nice. This is a humongous incentive to make sure you go grab the quests. So they say the reason why we want to do this is adjustment in rec games we found while playing and sifting through the data that the ramp up time for new and moderate GSF players was taking too long. Oh, yes, we knew that, but wow, this proves to actually go through their data. That's insane. And those players couldn't match up against veterans most of the time. The reason why he says most of the time is because if you're going to suck at GSF, leveling up your ship doesn't make you suck less, despite skill level. I believe that's false. It's mostly skill level, but the reason why he says this, new and moderate. It's weird that he says new and moderate GSF players, when actually it seems more the problem is getting your ship from new to moderate is a pain. From what I've seen, most new GSF players never make it to moderate. So I'm wondering if that's what he means, or if he got the two confused. Most new players quit after their first GSF match. Most new players don't even make it through their first GSF match. But they're not going to tell anybody that. Anyway, so we wanted to get players into the meaty part of the leveling curve and into a ship they really want to play faster. Ironically, the simple solution to that is just to rotate the ships through, but they refuse to do that. So I guess this is the next best thing. So with this goal in mind, after finishing the introduction quest, players will be... That quest is useless. Will be granted a fleet wreck to purchase any ship, but not the cartel markets. So that's cool. You'll get your first ship pretty much, what is that, about 80% of the ships. You could get any one of the first 80% of the ships immediately. So no more people bitching about how they can't get bombers. You'll be able to get a bomber or a gunship instantly. In addition to 8 experienced players, daily, weekly, and in-match objectives now give greater rec rewards, so players at any point in the leveling curve can move along through it. The quicker pace for hardcore GSF players, the goal is that this change will increase the amount of players sticking to GSF and thus increase the queue pool. More matches and more bogeys. While we are excited about this change, we want to do additional GSF content and balancing. We've been reading the GSF forum every week and gathering the feedback on what y'all want to see. Ha! Suck on that, GSF forum. That means they've been reading my stuff too. But there's no timetable currently. And there was a prior timetable, but they wiped that out for 2.8, 2.9, and 3.0. So I bet you 3.1 we're going to see some PvP and some GSF. Or one or the other, or both. Anyway, we hope everyone enjoys these rec changes and makes GSF overall more enjoyable for the player getting their wings in the battle to the battle-scarred aces. Look forward to y'all's feedback. Cheers. I think this is a really good change. Bob and I have been talking about this for a long time. Especially when they had like double GSF. It was clear, especially when we played double GSF, that and you had your kind of rested ship XP or whatever you want to call it. That I don't know how these exactly are broken out, but this math was off. We could tell it was off. Because you could attack people and get like 5,000 rec for a match. You'd defend and you'd get like 1,000 and or less. And this is why. So it's really neat to see the math. I mean, we looked at the math in the game broken out, but it did make sense. It makes sense now that I see it here. I didn't realize that control defense and destroy defense were different. And so, then this participation multiplier. The reason why this participation multiplier is really important, I think, is because you get a lot of new players that participate as much as they can, but that's not the same as, like, the really good players, the so-called aces, are obviously participating a lot more. And so I think this would go a really long way into giving the people that kind of don't have the capacity to really participate that much to give them a lot more points, which is good. Because right now, if you don't participate that much, let's say you get 3 assists. For a new player, 3 assists is insane. That means that someone actually got close enough for you to blast them without you draining your energy magazine. They would still get like 0 medals, which means they would get 0 points. I mean, that has got to be frustrating for new players, especially when so many new players refuse to learn how to play the game anyway. They were able to tag somebody a couple times, which I'll take it. If they can at least hit somebody without flying into a giant potato, I'd take that. You know, I'll take that. That's at least a start. But they were getting like basically no points even for that, so I think this is a really good start. So let's see. So I'm reading the comments here. Just fairly positive. Obviously, I have Lord Artemis on ignore. I'm not taking him off. Will he be able to do anything with extra requisition? That's a really good question. I've always wondered that. An extra 40 million credits, that's funny. A person has no idea what they're talking about. Okay, Brewski brings up an interesting point. Does it just mean that we should save all of our requisition tickets? That's a good question. Yeah, I like what this guy says. This is something that I brought up a long time ago. Why don't they just make like basically impossibly high bonuses, some badass points or something for the rest of us to spend everything on? Turn in Rec to get comms, that'd be really cool. I have Rain on ignore, that guy's piece of shit too. Infiltrators. Yeah, it'd be sweet if they'd finished the Infiltrators, the new ship that they were talking about a long time ago. To be honest, Alex, the only change that would make me want to play GSF would be a Requisition legacy-wide. Yeah, I agree. Requisition should be legacy-wide, more Varane bullshit. Well, I have nothing against new players get 500,000 fleet rec. I think you should lower the cost of components. Yeah, you know, I think 10,000 and 15,000 is way too expensive. So I don't think that's a bad idea. Yeah, I like what he says. Just make it equal. You want me to play GSF joystick support? Yeah, I hear a lot of people asking for joystick support. You know, this is the stupid perception. As in PvP, players have to accept being steamrolled by others until they get on power gear or ships. How's that supposed to be fun? You're only lowering the bit of time to which players will keep being abused by others, not improving the gameplay or the experience. People are getting abused by others because they refuse to learn how to play the game. That's all it is. If you think it's anything else, you're just not taking responsibility. Completely different from PvP. This guy says he doesn't understand how it's going to work. I guess he's unable to think for himself. How about making GSF legacy wide? Wow, a lot of people. Fuck. You see, like, Lord Artemis and that other guy, you notice how nobody's responding to what they're saying because they're pieces of shit. There's a lot of people asking for GSF to be legacy-wide. That is interesting. I think I'm going to chime in on that, too. Increasing fleet wreck and shipwreck means people can get their ships faster. Doesn't mean you'll have more people playing. I think it does think... I think you will have more people playing, because if people can get their bombers and their gunships faster... That's what people really want to be playing. Strike fighters and scouts are the two hardest ships to play. They're also amazing once you get good at them, but they're very hard ships to play. Yeah, that's a whole video by itself. There are a lot of other things to know how to get the most out of GSF to make you competitive than a master ship does prior. You get it from experience. Yeah, exactly. See, this guy gets it. So you can't fix the problem by throwing a buff at it. I don't think it's a temporary fix. I think you do need to get people in the other ships. That's why you need to have ship rotations. Force people to try all the ships. Force them to find the ship that they want to play and they're good at. As soon as they find a ship they're good at, you'll have a lot happier players. Why does this need to wait for 3.0? I've been asking myself that for a lot of their updates, like the stat thing, or the talent tree changes. Why does that have to wait for 3.0? There's a lot of other things too. I can't remember. I would assume most of the conquest objectives are bringing back new blood plows. Yeah, so it's not really needed. No, I think it is needed. Let's see. What should I write, guys? Why looks great, but why does this have to wait? 3.0. Also, I echo what everyone else said, which is just make this legacy wide. Also, a much simpler fix would have just been to put in weekly. Don't toss the baby starfighter out with the guild ship dishwater. But please continue giving GSF love as much as you can. There are some good folks that still support it. If you would return the favor. Looked great, but why does it have to wait for 3.0? Also, I echo what everyone else said. It's just make this legacy wide. Also, a much simpler fix would have been just put into weekly ship rotations to help people find the ship they wanted and could buy it. But, this fixes a lot of issues, like defending was worth way too low. So don't toss the baby starfighter out with the guild ship dishwater, but please continue giving GSF love as much as you can. There are some good folks still support it if you would return the favor. Thanks. Alright, so anyway, I wanted to bring you guys that bit of news because that's actually huge. I don't know why they didn't put that on the front page. I could give two shits about Revan coming back. Honestly, the only real thing I'm stoked about 3.0 is I'm not really jazzed about the new planets. I'm not really jazzed about the new flashpoints or whatever. I don't really want to level my characters up anymore. I was hoping for some new companions, some new personal stories, some new GSF. And so the fact that there are actually GSF changes coming blows my mind. I think it's more proof that they have no idea what's going on. This should have been front page. This is a big deal. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and talk to you guys. I don't really know what else to say, so just take care. Thanks, guys.